What's up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. I hope everybody is having a fantastic Friday. I hope everybody is safe and well and in good health today. So I know you guys all read the title. In today's video, we're going to be talking about some things that I'm not proud of, right? Some things you should not try to mimic or replicate, just things you shouldn't be doing, okay? So for anybody who watched My Simping Days Part 1, you'll know that 12-year-old Sunny hit some pretty pathetic lows when it came to women. And some stuff that I will be sharing today, as well as stuff I shared in, my previous simping video, it's not necessarily stuff that I'm proud of, dude. And not only am I not proud of it, it's actually kind of hard to share, to be completely honest with you guys. But my whole goal for this video, as well as this channel, all together, is so that someone can take something away from what I'm saying and hopefully learn from my mistakes and, not be a simp pretty much. Now, before we get started, I actually want to go over the definition of the word simp because there's probably a few of you out there who don't know what the word actually means, and I want to kind of clarify that before I get into the story. All right, so I have Urban Dictionary pulled up on my phone. I'm going to read it for you guys. Simp. It is when a male is overly submissive to a female and gains nothing from it. So overly submissive that other guys cringe and feel ashamed when seeing them. This applies to males in relationships when they are so submissive that they say literally anything to be in favor with the female. For example, bro, did you hear what Colin said to his girl? Yeah, he's such a simp. He's embarrassing to be around. So for anybody who watched my last video, you'll know that 12-year-old me pretty much embodied the definition of the word. However, in this story, I'm a little bit older. Okay, I'm around 14. So it's like 2 years after, part 1. And I'd say I got significantly better, but there's a lot of things I could have done differently. And I hope anybody watching this video just, does not mimic or replicate anything I do in this video. To be entirely clear, I wasn't unhinged or anything like that. But let's just say I put up with a lot of stuff I should not have put myself through. And, it just wasn't worth it in the end. Was not worth it at all. And it honestly keeps me up at night to this day. Nah, I'm just joking around, man. This was like back in 2019. Okay, this was a long time ago. But, once again, I just hope somebody takes something away from this. See this as a cautionary tale of what not to do, right? I've learned my lesson. I'm not a simp anymore. That life does not pay off, okay? Crime pays. Simping does not. If I ever have merch one day, I'm going to put that onto t-shirts and hoodies and stuff. I'm going to put it everywhere. Crime pays. Simping does not. It's like an Aristotle level quote. I want to make one thing very clear. This is not one of those alpha male red pill videos. Like, I'm not going to try to convince you that you're a loser because you're not making millions a year, and that the reason she's not texting you back is because she thinks you're like a beta male or something, some BS like that. This video is purely for entertainment. However, once again, I'm hoping somebody can take something away from this. And yeah, I just hope you guys have a good time watching it. So without further ado, grab some popcorn, grab a drink, get comfortable, and let's begin the simping experience, chapter 2. Okay, so this story takes place in the year of 2019, just before everything went bad, pretty much, before the world went to shambles. And little Sonny was entering his freshman year of high school. Now, little Sonny was always kind of a shy and timid kid, but he decided that this year was going to be different. He wanted to reinvent himself. He wanted to undergo a rebirth, so to speak. So he joined the wrestling team, which I'll make a future video about. He gained more confidence in himself. He was crushing it. He was a new man. And at this point, nothing could stop Sonny. He was going to be the king of ninth grade, the king of the school. So for a little bit of background, I went to elementary school and middle school with pretty much all the same people. So I never really got to meet anybody new. And, I never really got to expand my horizons as far as new friends went. And since pretty much everybody knew who I was from my elementary and middle school, they didn't really care about getting to know me or anything, more than they already did. And honestly, man, the feeling was mutual. Like, I couldn't stand anybody I went to school with. Some of my friends sometimes talk about going to like their 10-year high school reunion or whatever. But dude, I literally could not care less about that. Like, I will not be showing up to any reunion my high school throws. Okay, I'm not showing up to that. Because dude, honestly, aside from freshman year, the rest of my high school experience was awful. Like, it was terrible. And I'll talk about that in a later video. But okay, back to the story. So once again, since I pretty much knew everybody I went to elementary and middle school with, everything changed once I got to high school. So in my town, there are 3 high schools, and for each high school, there are 2 middle schools. And by that, I mean for my high school, all the kids from my middle school, as well as the other nearest middle school, transferred into my high school. So, for example, I went to Elmore Junior High, and Wayside Middle School was the other nearest middle school. So that meant we both transferred to UA High when we got to high school. You get the point. So, since I had only known everybody I went to elementary and middle school with, I became friends with a lot of new people very quickly. And since all these kids had no idea who I was, I had a clean slate pretty much. They didn't know about the version of Sunny that once existed within the halls of Elmore Junior High. To them, I was this chill guy they had never seen before. And I took advantage of that because, dude, your boy was an embarrassment in middle school. But once again, I will make a future video about that. So the year goes on, and Sonny's having a great time in ninth grade. He was crushing it. He had reached a level of happiness he never knew he could. And, during his time at UA, Sonny being the young lad that he was, probably like a lot of you watching this video, he would check out girls and, kind of keep his eye on some in particular that he thought were pretty or whatever. There was this one in particular who he kind of had a crush on, right? We'll call her Carmen. And he had a class with her and everything, but they didn't really know each other and they never really talked. They had each other on Snapchat, and, I think they made a couple jokes to each other here and there because I think she responded to something I posted. But other than that, we didn't really know each other. And at this point, I didn't have a massive crush on Carmen or anything like that. I just thought she was cute, and that was pretty much it. But we'll get into this later. So at one point, Sonny had this one friend who he met in middle school, and we'll call her Jennifer. And Jennifer she was of the Mexican persuasion, just like me. And Jennifer, if you're watching this, I hope you're doing well. You were always a really cool person to hang out with. Wishing you all the best. And for those of you who don't know, in Mexican culture, when a girl turns 15, there is a party that is thrown called a quinceañera. And, it's kind of like a sweet 16 or, like a bat mitzvah or whatever. It's pretty much kind of declaring that the girl is now a woman, basically. And at a quinceañera, there is this thing called a court of honor. And it's pretty much a group of the girl's closest friends who help her transition into womanhood. But, part of being in someone's court of honor means that you have to do the waltz with somebody. And, at one point, Jennifer had asked me if I wanted to be a part of the court, and I said no because I can't really dance, and I was still kind of shy, right? So I turned her down on that, but I told her I would definitely go to the party because, dude, who doesn't love a good party, man? So I ended up going to this party, and it's a great time, man. Like, I still look back on it sometimes, even to this day. I met a lot of really great people that day. So, we're all partying, we're dancing, we're vibing, we're sharing the night together as one. And as the party goes on, Sonny meets this girl who we'll call Sandra. Now, Sandra was a little bit older than me. She was a junior to be exact. I was a freshman, so like a 2-year difference. And, it was pretty obvious that she was feeling your boy, okay? Like, she wanted me, and she wanted me bad. Now, unfortunately for Sandra, the feeling was just not mutual. She was cool and all. We were dancing, we were vibing, but I just wasn't into her. Not to sound shallow, but the physical attraction was just not all there. She wasn't unattractive or anything, right? But she just was not for me. So, the party ends and we eventually all go home. But before that, Sandra asks me for my Snapchat. So, I give it to her. So the next day comes around and Sandra starts messaging me and, she's trying to talk to me. She's trying to flirt with me. And, I'm just not feeling it, but I'm still being polite. I'm still being nice. So I talk to her, but I'm keeping it casual. But, at one point, Sandra sends a picture, because it's Snapchat, of her. And, I see someone in the background. And sure enough, it's Carmen. The one I had talked about earlier, the one I said I kind of had a crush on. Yeah, so I come to find out that they're actually sisters. So I eventually ask Sandra why Carmen didn't go to the quinceañera, and she tells me that Carmen didn't go because Carmen was originally in the court of honor because I guess she was friends with Jennifer, but they had kind of a falling out, and they weren't necessarily on speaking terms. So fast forward about a week, I'm in school. I'm in PE class specifically, which was the class I actually had Carmen in. So I think we're playing kickball or something. And somehow I start talking to Carmen. And, we kind of talk about how, like, I know Sandra and how I met her at Jennifer's party and stuff like that. Just kind of making small talk. And eventually, we start kind of talking every day, not on Snapchat, but, in PE class because, we just really got along. Like, we just really clicked. And I just never expected to actually get along with her like that. I kind of always just saw her from afar, but we actually had a lot in common. So needless to say, if Sandra thought she had a chance with me before this, she had zero chances now. I was in love with her sister. And I mean, she eventually kind of got the message, she kind of stopped talking to me and stuff like that. So, eventually I start to develop feelings for Carmen because, we talk every day in PE. We have all these cool inside jokes, stuff like that, right? Your boy was crushing. So one day I'm chilling at home. just minding my own business. And I eventually get a Snapchat from Carmen. So, me being all giddy, I opened it up and I forget how the conversation started, but I remember it eventually segues into the fact that she's talking to some guy and she wanted my input. And at the time, that stung kind of bad, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. It stung pretty bad because I actually felt a connection with this person, and that's kind of rare for me. So, it hurt, but I decided to stay optimistic about it because, we're young. It's not like she's married to the guy. Things can change. So, me being the buffoon, right, the simp that I was, I decided to give her input on the guy, which, dude, if you ever get caught in that predicament, don't do that, okay? You're not getting yourself anywhere by doing that, okay? You're playing a losing game. So, that happens, and then I eventually kind of just move on for the day. Still stung pretty bad, but I decided to just, thug it out, as the cool kids would say, and I went about my business. So, about a week goes by, and I get a message from Jennifer inviting me to go see Captain Marvel with her and a few people from her court of honor. So the day comes, we're heading into the movie theater. And before we head in, Jennifer says hi to somebody kind of behind me. So I turn around and sure enough, it's Carmen, but she's with the guy that she was talking to, right? They were on a date. They were going to go see a movie. So luckily, they weren't seeing the same movie as us. They weren't watching Captain Marvel. I think they went to go see like Alita Battle Angel or something because this is 2019. And, thank God, because, dude, if they were in the same theater as me and I had to get a glimpse of them like making out or something, I probably would have offed myself. So, we're all talking to Carmen and this guy, and I didn't really say much to the guy. I think I like shook his hand or something, just kind of just being cordial. And we eventually part ways and we all go to our separate movie theaters. So, we go and watch Captain Marvel, and I'm already not having a good time because I'm imagining what's happening in the movie theater next to us, right? I'm thinking about how they're probably making out and how I wish it was me. Not a good time, okay? I was not having fun. So Jennifer actually knew that I liked Carmen, right? And her being the cool friend that she was, she kind of tried to calm me down a little bit because she could see how upset I was that I saw them together. Kind of telling me things like, hey, Sonny, I know you're upset, but they haven't really been talking for very long. They're kind of just getting to know each other. It might not work out. You might still have a chance, right? And I mean, I held on to that, but at the moment, dude, I was really angry because here I was trying to have a good time with my friends. I didn't want to see that. I didn't want to see them together on the same day in the same location, right? So, we sit down in the movie theater. We're watching this god awful movie because, dude, I hated that movie. I hated Captain Marvel so much. I think the fact that I saw what I had seen before we went in amplified me already not liking the movie. But to this day, that is one of my least favorite movies of all time. Okay, that movie sucked. So, the movie ends, we walk out, and Jennifer and the other guys are laughing and joking. And I come out last because, dude, I was just not having it. I was having a terrible day. I wasted $12 on a movie that I hated with every ounce of passion in my body. I saw this girl that I really, really liked with another guy in the same location. It was just not a good day for Sonny. He wanted to just go home in his little bed and cry himself to sleep. Nah, I didn't do all that. I didn't cry myself to sleep, of course. I'm not a pathetic loser. But, I was pretty upset about it, and it was not a good day. I remember it was a Friday night that this happened, so my whole weekend was kind of just ruined. So some time goes by, and I'm still friends with Carmen, but it's a little bit different because I now know that she's with that guy. So I kind of keep her at a distance a little bit. I don't really get my heart involved at all. And I don't want to say I cut off any feelings I had for her, but I kind of try to suppress them the best I could. So after a while, Carmen kind of stops talking about the guy she's with. And, we'll call him Jose. I forgot to give him a name earlier. We'll call him Jose. She kind of stops talking about him. And, little Sonny kind of thought to himself, maybe it's not working out. Maybe she's going to break up with him or something. Maybe I still have a chance. Okay. So one day we find out that there is a school dance being held and it's called Morp. And it's kind of like prom, but like a reverse prom, hence Morp. It's just prom spelled backwards. And when I say that it's a reverse prom, I mean it's not formal. You can kind of just wear whatever you want. And I think it was only for freshmen and sophomores. So it was less people than like a homecoming dance, pretty much. So I forgot to mention earlier that at one point I had actually joined Carmen's group of friends. And it was really cool. It was a big group of like both guys and girls. And, they weren't popular or anything like that, but they were definitely known for being like just really cool and, chill people. Right. I felt really accepted by them at the time. So, we're all waiting in line to get into this dance and we're kind of just talking with one another, having a nice little time. And at one point, Carmen starts to all tell us that she's really upset because Jose actually went to a different school and he won't be able to join us in this dance. So upon hearing this, I'm obviously really happy. I didn't have to see him. I didn't have to see them dancing together. It was going to be a really nice night. So we get let into the dance. They check our school IDs, which is critical information for what I'm about to say next. We get let into this dance. We're having a nice time. And, I'm dancing with Carmen. Things are looking great. Things are looking really swell for little Sunny. So eventually some time goes on and Carmen, she leaves. She leaves the gym where the dance was being held. And I'm like, oh, I wonder where she went. But, she'll be back. Like, it's going to be great. So she eventually comes back, but she wasn't alone. So she comes over to our group and she's like, hey guys, guess who I brought? And it's Jose. So upon seeing him, my heart pretty much, shatters into 1,000 pieces. And I eventually am kind of like, all right, guys, I'm going to go walk around. I'm just going to go talk to some other people. So that's what I did. I kind of just walked around and I just talked to whoever I knew at the time. But then eventually I got kind of, tired of being around all those people because it was a lot of people. So I eventually decided to leave the premises for a little bit. So I'm sitting on this curb just feeling really awful about myself. I just kept replaying everything in my head, just, seeing him walking in and just me feeling terrible inside. It was just not a very good time. So I eventually say to myself, just brush it off. We'll just go back inside, have a good time, maybe dance with some other people. So I'm heading inside, and one of the guards that was watching the door is like, whoa, 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 what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, I'm just going back into the dance. And he's like, yeah, you can't do that if you've already left. And I go, wait, but I have my school ID because you needed a school ID to get into the dance in the first place. And in the most sarcastic, most cheeky tone ever, he goes, that's cool. I have one too, but you're not getting inside the dance. So I look at him and I just don't say anything because what do you do? It's a grown man. I was like 14, but I wanted to tear him limb from limb. And what made it even worse was, I had a school ID. I actually went to UA high school while Jose was dancing in there and he didn't even go to this school. He got snuck in. So I walk away with my head down in shame, feeling terrible about myself. And I eventually wait for my mom to pick me up because, we were freshmen. We couldn't drive yet. So, we're heading home and I'm clearly upset. And my mom asked me, what's wrong? And, I didn't want to admit that I was upset over a girl. So I just made some comment about the dance being terrible. And then, it was a waste of money. But after I say that, I immediately feel awful because my mom was the one who bought me the ticket in the first place. So, it pretty much turned into my mom yelling at me for wasting her money. And, rightfully so, because I didn't have a job. I wasn't the one paying for this school dance ticket. Except I should have just told her what was wrong instead of, blaming it on the dance or whatever. But, it is what it is. So you know how I said that I didn't cry myself to sleep earlier because I wasn't a quote unquote pathetic loser? Yeah, well, after this dance incident, I went up to my room and I just sobbed myself to sleep, okay? I think I put on Marvin's Room by Drake. I was listening to like just some sad music. It was really bad. So, some time goes on and I'm still friends with Carmen, right? We still have PE together. We still talk every day. The feelings were slowly kind of going away, but they were never 100% gone. And for anybody who's ever been in my position, you know exactly what I mean. So I'm sitting in math class one day, just, I don't know, learning about the Pythagorean theorem, practicing PEMDAS. And I'm talking to my one friend. We'll call her Michaela. So I'm talking to Michaela, and Michaela eventually tells me, hey, one of my friends actually thinks you're attractive. So I immediately, I ask her who, because I'm all curious. And she tells me it's her friend, Layla. And I had met Layla a couple times. She was always really nice, but I didn't really know too much about her. So I asked Michaela if, she can maybe, put in a good word for me, kind of set something up between us. And, that's pretty much what happened. So I eventually start talking to Layla. We're talking every day. And honestly, man, I'm not going to lie to you. I kind of fumbled with this one. So Layla to this day is probably like the only girl I'd say I've ever actually had like a genuine connection with like that. I've been in two relationships, which I will make a video on in the future. But Layla, dude, no one has ever really come close to that. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. We had the same interests, we had the same sense of humor. We had everything in common. Like everything just aligned perfectly. I can't even explain it. But me being the buffoon that I was, the joker, okay, the goon that I wasn't fully over Carmen, and I broke things off with Layla because I still had feelings for Carmen. And, I didn't want it to go any further than it really needed to go. So yeah, I broke things off with Layla, which I still kind of beat myself up over to this day, which I don't even know why I did because she was actually a really good and, interesting person. To this day, I still have not found anyone like her. And, maybe I will one day. I don't know. But yeah, 14-year-old me was stupid. I was a buffoon. So some even more time passes, and eventually it's Carmen's birthday. We all go over to her house, and we're having a good time. Carmen and I are like flirting, which is crazy because she had a boyfriend. She was with Jose, but she was still just she liked having me around pretty much. I was kind of being used. And eventually there's this one guy at the party who we'll call Randy. We're all sitting on the couch, and keep in mind, Carmen had her family members there. She had like her little baby cousins kind of running around. She had like her mom like on the, like at the kitchen table that was near the couch. And Randy and this other girl, let's just say they were doing some X-rated activities basically, and they thought no one was going to notice. So eventually there's this huge argument, and Randy gets kicked out and Carmen's crying, and then I'm the one who goes over and like is trying to make her feel better. I gave her a hug. Crazy simp activities, right? Okay. I was getting nowhere with that. I just thought I was. So eventually we all go back inside, and everything kind of calmed down. We're trying to have a good time. She's not crying anymore. And we all start dancing kind of like you would at a quinceañera, because apparently Carmen never actually got one, because I forgot to mention that Carmen and Sandra were also of the Mexican persuasion. I had a lot of Mexican friends, okay? So our group of friends at the time was kind of like her court of honor in a way. And me being like the closest to her at the time, I was dancing with her one on one. And dude, I swear to God, like everything felt like it was leading up to us getting together, except that did not happen at all. And I will get into that right now. So some time passes, and we're at school one day, and we're all hanging out in a group. And I had this one friend in the group named Andrew. So one day, Andrew and I, like I said, we're all kind of huddled together in this group at lunch. We're just kind of talking. Andrew and I kind of start horsing around. We weren't fighting. We were just kind of like play fighting, I guess. And Carmen had gotten a brand new iPhone 8 for her birthday, right? Except she never got a case for it, nor any kind of screen protector. So it's just kind of out in the open, pretty much. And since Andrew and I were horsing around, we eventually kind of get out of control, and we knock the phone on the ground and it breaks. So obviously after this, she starts crying, and it's all dramatic and it's really bad. I feel awful. So does Andrew. And we don't speak to each other at all for the rest of the day. And, we had PE right after lunch together. We didn't say a word to each other. So the next day comes around, I apologize. So does Andrew. We all make up, and, everything's great. Like, I figured everything was just going to be fine after that. We offered to like help pay for it. But me being stupid at the time, I didn't realize, hey, Sonny, you don't have a job. You don't have steady income coming in. Your parents don't have the money to replace an iPhone 8, okay? How are you going to replace it? So, I wasn't thinking at the time about how much that would actually cost, but summer eventually rolls around, and there's no word on the phone at all. It's almost kind of like she forgot about it. But one day I'm hanging out, I'm minding my own business, and I eventually get a text from Carmen, and it's about the phone. And, she starts asking me when I'll be able to help pay for the phone, because Andrew was already going to help pay as well. But, I pretty much tell her, hey, I honestly don't know, because I don't have a job. My parents don't have money like that. I'm not sure when I'll be able to get her this money. And then after I say that, it becomes a little bit aggressive. And she's like, well, you better find out soon, because my parents are going to find out. And, they just bought me this phone. It's going to be a big mess. And I think I told her something like, hey, I'm not sure what to tell you. I don't have money like that saved up. I don't know when I'm going to be able to get any kind of money like that. So I'm really sorry. So about a half an hour goes by, and I get a text from a random number. So I check it out. So it ends up being Jose, the guy that she was dating, right? Her boyfriend. And, he texts me saying that I need to pay whatever I owe for the phone. And then if I don't, he's going to come after me. And, I need to watch myself. And then how I should have thought about what I had done before I did it, even though it was an accident. So this guy was clearly an idiot. So, I kept my cool, and I just kind of messaged back, hey man, look, it was an accident. I didn't plan on breaking your girlfriend's phone. That's not, that wasn't on my agenda for the day. So I'm sorry, but I don't know how I'm going to get the money right now. And then he said something else after this. I don't know what he said. I forget. It's been like 6 years. But after that, I eventually just blocked the number, because I just didn't feel like talking with this guy anymore. He wanted to fight me and everything, but I was like, no way, Jose. And then I just deleted the conversation. And then after that, I confront Carmen about it. And obviously, I'm pretty upset, because she basically sent her boyfriend to come after me. And, they tried to strong arm me into giving them however much money they needed for the phone. I felt betrayed pretty much. So, needless to say, I never paid back that money for the phone. Neither did Andrew. And Carmen and I were never really friends again after that either. And, we eventually reconciled everything. Like, we both apologized for our faults. Like, she apologized for the whole thing with Jose, and I apologized for not being able to pay back the money for the phone. But, things were never quite the same after that. And it is what it is. That's how life works out sometimes. Carmen's actually married now, and I think she has a kid, or she's either going to have a kid very soon. So I'm very happy for her. And, I mean, there's no bad blood or anything between us. Like if I were to message her right now, it would be totally cool. It's all in the past. It was like 6 years ago. But yeah, guys, moral of the story, don't stay friends with somebody who you really like if they don't feel the same way about you. Know your worth, man. Know your worth and find somebody who appreciates you for you. And if you end up breaking someone's phone, please make sure to help pay to fix it. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much going to wrap up today's video. I hope you guys all enjoyed my Simping Days Part 2. I do have 3 more of these videos that I will be making. This is a 5-part series. I will be making part 3 of this very, very soon. So if you have not already, please turn on post notifications as well as like this video and subscribe to the channel. I do upload every Friday. One more thing, make sure you guys are following me on Instagram at Stories with Sunny. And if you have a juicy, groundbreaking story you want me to tell in a future video, because I will be doing a series where I tell your guys' stories, make sure to DM it to me. Just make sure it's clean, because I want to keep everything PG, guys. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys all have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay safe out there, guys.